Welcome to the Divorce Playbook podcast. I'm the not injured brother, Dan Levy.
And I'm the very injured brother, Scott Levy.
So, do you want to address the giant elephant sitting on your back right now, or
Yeah,
you're
it
you're
does feel.
you're
It
going under
feels
the
like it.
knife?
I am. Yeah, yeah. Which I have mixed the feelings about because obviously I don't want to. Nobody who wants to get surgery, but I'm in a tremendous amount of pain, uh, and I need to get it fixed. So I have an amazing team of doctors that have been so good, so on top of things. I'm really impressed with them. And yeah, I have um, s- some herniated discs in my back that are pushing up against my nerves and not allowing me to live a life. So I'm on a lot of painkillers, and have surgery next week.
And that leads to our theme song of the day. I'm gonna play this and see if you know what it is. I don't know if you'll get this one.
It used to seem to me that my life run off too
Do you know what this is?
I think I do.
We're gonna let it run out. This is one of my favorite 70s, 80s artists of all time.
But when you're born to run, it's so good to
Wait, who is it?
slow down.
It's got a very unique voice. It's hard to not know who this is.
Yeah, I'm drugged out, dude.
Here it comes.
We'll be back in the high life again.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'll take it. Yeah.
Steve Winwood, man. Steve Winwood.
Steve Winwood, right? Yeah, okay, that is a throwback, and I will be back in the high life again. That's why I'm another record
On the Levy record player right now. Steve Winwood.
Yeah, that was a good theme song for how I feel that I will be back soon enough. So again, the surgery will provide me almost immediate relief, which is what I really am desperate for. So for all of you that have reached out and said over the last two podcasts, wow, Scott, what is wrong with you? Or you look really bad or uncomfortable. You're being one of them. I know. Well, you knew what was wrong with me. Right. I appreciate it. I appreciate the thoughts and prayers. And, I'm assuming by the end of next week, I'll be back to my normal self, making fun of you.
For people who maybe have gone back to watch episodes previous to the last two, what's your excuse when they ask you what's wrong with you? What do you tell them then?
Oh, my excuse is I'm your brother. That's what's wrong with me.
There you go. Yeah. So, I don't know. We haven't talked about this. This is the first time we're actually even talking about this. So we probably shouldn't do it while we're recording. But can I do the show myself next week? Should we get Nicole? See if Nicole's available to fill in for you.
Yeah, you should get we should get a guest. We should get a guest. I can do one more because I'm going midweek. So I do one more, but I think we should find a guest. Nicole, we always love Nicole to be on here. So I think you should get a guest to fill in, just make sure that my spirit is alive when you guys are recording.
Okay. Well, speaking of spirit, this could be like, and I don't mean this in any way, but like an Alex Trebek situation. We could get like Ken Jennings. Who's the Ken Jennings of our show? Maybe it is Nicole, like the one who everyone wants back. And then you can eventually, we'll just keep that person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's hope that I'm not kicking the bucket.
Yeah, right.
This,
well, obviously,
I am trying to get my affairs in order though. So back to, when we were talking about Dawn. And so maybe she's a good person we can kind of call back, as a guest appearance too, because I am, anytime you have a problem and you need to get surgery and you have children, you never know. This is close to my spine. So, I need to make sure that my affairs are in order. So
now I feel like I should stop joking about it.
No, you can look. I mean, it is what it is. Like there's a tiny percent chance that would happen and a very large percent chance that I will just be fixed and back to normal. And they've even said that the recovery from the surgery will be a lot less pain than I'm experiencing every minute of every day right now. So I'm looking forward to some pain, not constantly, as opposed to constant pain. So, but I do genuinely have to just cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure all my stuff is in order, which everyone should do anyway. If you have children, it's not just when you go to get surgery. I was talking to Jack about this the other day where I was like, Jack, I have money in different accounts that if something were to happen to me, nobody would know where this is. So it's not like a lot of money, but I
Like
have
offshore accounts? Like
not offshore, but I have like a little bit of cryptocurrency. I have a little bit of stuff in like a Robinhood account. I have, just things that are not part of my overall finances. Like if you just called my financial guy, he would be like, yeah, sure. Here's his stuff and here's part of his life insurance, but I have life insurance outside of that they need to know about. So to Dawn's point, when she was on here, you need to have your stuff in order, whether you're getting surgery or not. Just, you never know what's going to happen in your days. And that's what I'm doing. So in addition to getting ready for things and working, I'm getting my affairs in order just in case. And it's a good idea to get it done anyway.
Do you I'm trying to go back and look at what episode Dawn was on. It looks like December 20th. So I'll have to figure that out. Because you keep mentioning Dawn Versa. She came on and talked a lot about financial planning. And we talked about this on the show. So she was divorced and then her ex passed away. So all of a sudden she was like, she went from two houses and two incomes to just having to do it all by herself. He did not have life insurance. And then she decided to change her entire life and career and go into that because she doesn't want other people to end up in a situation like she was in.
Well, let's give it, like as we're showing this, Elise, if you're watching us on YouTube, which we appreciate.
I'll just figure it out. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll throw it there. And I will say, just as a quick shout out, if you are watching us on YouTube, which again, we really appreciate everyone who is watching and engaging or not engaging, just if you're doing it for pure entertainment value, actually subscribe to the channel. It'll make me feel a little bit better because we have a lot of people viewing stuff all over the place. But I just like to see those regular subscribers. So at least you get some added benefits and when shows come out and when we pop up other new things, you'll know that. So as you're listening, just look down on your phone or on your computer and hit that subscribe button, please.
It looks like it would be episode 20 because the title of that is "I'll Handle the Eulogies." So I'm going with it's probably somewhere in the episode 20 range.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll figure that out, and you can kind of put a note on here.
Well, so. Yeah. All right. So there's a topic I would like to talk about, Scott. It's a topic. It is episode 20. So now I'll stop distracting myself. Episode 20.
Please. Yeah.
This is a topic that is very I don't want to say difficult to talk about, but I don't want to sound ageist here, but I think it does split along certain age lines, certainly on gender lines, and it's the concept, Scott, of chivalry. And I want to kind of sit on this for a little bit because I think it has to do with a lot of things, not just on a date. It has to do with parenting. It has to do with we have a thing on one of our polls that we have out there, like who should drive on a date, and like your response to me was like amazing because you're like, what do you mean? Like it was there was a second part of that was like if your date drives up in X car, like which car would you want it to be? It's like a Lamborghini, the Oscar Mayer Wiener car, and like everything in between. And your response to me was like, I would drive. Like it was like so matter of fact.
I believe in chivalry.
But that's not necessarily chivalry in 2021. That's what I'm trying to get at is that chivalry has changed. Go ahead.
It's a good topic because I happen to, as I was on apps matching with people, there were quite a few people in my target audience, I'll say, that were even saying, I want chivalry. I believe in, I'm single, I'm successful, for the women saying this, that I have all these things, but I just don't want chivalry to be dead. Like I like every once in a while, and I'd be curious to see what the audience thinks. Like a lot of people, are busy and make decisions all the time. Like they would like somebody to make the plans for them / us. Like they don't want to have to make the plans. Like they're making decisions all day long. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think maybe it's inbred in it, but I feel like I like to open the door for somebody, and those are little things that I think go a long way, and just like a thoughtful.
I think there's a difference between opening the door for someone and taking control of a situation by like, I'm going to be the one who makes the plans, or I'm going to be the one who, blah, blah, blah. And I just looked it up. I wanted to do like a 12th grade or 11th grade term paper. The dictionary defines chivalry as, but actually the dictionary defines chivalry as the combination of qualities expected of an ideal knight, especially courage, honor, justice, and the readiness to help the weak. And that's the part that I think we need to sit on if we talk about it. Define weak, because in my experience, I'm the weak. So if we're talking chivalry, everyone who I go out with should be holding the goddamn door for me. I'm the weak.
Well, let's just say, Dan, if you and I were going out for dinner, let's be honest, I'd pick you up, I'd drive, and I'd pay the bill. So there you go.
Well, okay.
Doesn't have to be male and female. It could be brotherly. Like, would I not do that? So I guess I'm chivalrous anyway.
I don't know why you would have to drive and why you would pick me up. Why can't we, as someone smartly said to me after we did that poll, like, why can't we just both drive separately? Like, why is your only option somebody's got to pick the other person up? And
it's not the only option, right?
No, but
in the quiz, it was. Right. But I'm saying, like, more often than not. I mean, look, I look at it, and look, you and I, the sidebarring, because I feel like I helped teach you to drive. So you were young, we were in that school parking lot, whatever. And so I always feel like, it's the same thing with my kids now. Jack drives, but he never drives when I'm in the car. I would like for him to sometimes, but I'm just in charge when it comes to that. And I'm a good driver. So I think it's less to do with maybe overall chivalry and just the confidence that you have in certain things. And I just feel like I like to drive. I enjoy it and I'm good at it. So why would I not take charge when I can?
Certainly driving is one. I went out with a woman who I'm still quite friendly with. And I remember, I don't know if she said it as I was walking up to the car or prior to that, and I remembered it, but I like opened the door for her. It was like my car was parked in front of her house. And so the passenger side was like curbside. And so we're walking to the car. So I'm being a nice person. I always will hold the door for anyone. I mean, I'm the guy who goes to the mall and holds the door for 9 families. So then mine's like halfway down the street being like, where the hell's dad? That's just what I've always done. So in this case, I just opened the door.
But why not do that? I mean, I think that's part of the thing, and I'm going to let you finish, but I just think that, chivalry shouldn't, if that's what chivalry is, a little bit of that, it shouldn't die through dating. Like when you're married, like why don't you still do stuff? I don't see many married people. Like I love to see a married person or a married couple come out of a restaurant and, let's just say, I'm not being gender, specific on this. I'm just saying, like in this case, the husband, walks out and goes and opens the car door for his wife. I love seeing stuff like that. Like that just is caring.
Yes. And there's a difference between courtesy and chivalry. And that's where I'm talking. Like I'll hold the door for anyone. Doesn't matter if it's a man or woman. It's just, I'm being courteous. I'm just trying to be a good citizen. That's not the same thing. And if you look at the definition, it's specifically gender roles. It's a knight. Knights were only men. For the weak. And that's a synonym or whatever for women at that time. And this is 200, 500 years ago. I mean, but we still use that term and we still have these sort of antiquated gender roles in our society. And yet I feel like I'm wrong. I'm doing something wrong. And I'll get in a little bit to like what's happened over the last couple of days to me that are very troublesome. I feel irksome in a way. To stop dancing around it, I literally texted my friend yesterday and I thought I was going to throw up in my car. And I'll tell you the story why next. But I did. I was sick to my stomach. I'm going to elaborate. Yeah.
Okay.
What? I'm getting to it. I'm just saying, like,
okay, good.
So, as people know, I match with a lot of people online. And I'm on the apps quite a bit because we're doing research for a lot of the projects that we're working on. And it's information that we need for some of the stuff that we're doing. And everyone always jokes around. And I know there are a lot of you listening because I get the texts and the emails or not emails, but direct messages that people who I match with end up watching the show or listening to the show. So, hi, sorry it didn't work out or whatever.
Best of luck to you.
So the other day, And I need to be careful because I did promise this person that I would not like give any information as to who they are or whatever, because that's not fair. But the other day I matched with someone, and and it was on Hinge, and the note I sent was, we're probably not a good match romantically because you want something that I can't provide. But I want to pick your brain on things. Your profile is amazing. I want to ask you your methodology. Why did you pick the certain pictures? And it's kind of weird to like ask somebody that, but I asked it in like a respectful way. And she matched with me, and we ended up texting back and forth, and she was amazing. And then we talked.
Is right. You
What?
said was, but she is amazing. I'm assuming, like, or is she no longer amazing?
Oh, let me finish the story.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't know the end of the story.
Okay, sorry. I'll be quiet.
I mean, she's still amazing as a person. Like she is.
Yeah.
She seems amazing.
Okay.
But so anyway, we text back and forth. Then we ended up talking on the phone for quite a while. And it went from like, this is going to be like a friendship, professional, like consulting thing, to like, I really like this woman. And I got the sense that she felt the same way about me. But there was this giant roadblock. So I expected to come into this episode talking about this roadblock, talking about if there is something that I can't provide for someone now, should I do them the courtesy of cutting it off and be like, this can't be a romantic thing because I don't want to take 4 months, 3 days, 1 minute of your life away from your goal of searching for someone who can give you that, because it doesn't impact me at all. And that's all the dancing I'm going to do on that. People can figure it out probably.
I'm assuming you're talking about a kid, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, regardless.
Okay.
So anyway, the point is, in that conversation, it went from like, this person's really nice to, and I get this feeling a lot. And Nicole and I talked about this on the show when she was on both times. Sometimes you just have a feeling in your life, this person is supposed to be in my orbit. This person is supposed to this. And I don't believe in like, this was meant to be, things happen for a reason. You guys know all that. I don't believe that, but I do have a strong sense sometimes of like, this person is supposed to be in my life. I don't know where, but I believe that. And I believe this like right off the bat with this woman. Like she's supposed to be. And then what happened was I basically got confused by it because I thought maybe it's romantic. And I had this sort of crisis of conscience. Like, am I doing a disservice to this person? Anyway, we had plans to go out this weekend, perhaps. Then she knows I'm spontaneous. She finds reservations at the best restaurant in Philly without question. And she's like, do you want to go tonight at 9:30? And my response within a half a second on text was, fuck yes. Because best restaurant in the city. I've been trying to go for a while before they closed. I had reservations that I ended up canceling at one point. And somebody who I think is amazing, who asked me out. Fuck yes.
Right.
Okay. I thought the night was awesome. She also thought the night was awesome.
Wait, so you went out last night, or like this is
it was two nights ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, on the bill, it was you can only get reservations right now with American Express, and neither of us had one. So she had to get somebody who she works with to like give the card, and so we had to like Venmo the money. And me being stupid and chivalrous and being like, this is going to be a long-term thing. I really like this woman. Like something's going to figure out. I fall for people way too easily, apparently. I just sent her we were going to split it. And I just sent her the whole amount because I'm like, whatever, I'm being chivalrous. Then I felt stupid about it because then I mentioned some other things and we talked on the phone and I was like, maybe it's not as good a fit. She seems really like, giving me shit about things that like red flags, right? So now I'm on this red flag kick. And I was like, this is not going to be as good a romantic fit as I had hoped. But there was still that chemistry and blah, blah, blah. So I put together a list of other restaurants we can go out next time we go out because we were going to go out this weekend, I thought. And I sent a thing and she sends me a text and she's like, hey, do you have a couple minutes to talk? And I was like, I am getting fucking friend zoned again. And that's what happened. I got friend zoned again. Now, here's the chivalry part of it. I was a perfect gentleman, I thought, right? I thought that there was chemistry between the two of us in a potential romantic way. I walked her back to her apartment in the opposite direction of the train. Actually ended up missing the train. So I had to sit another half hour in the train station. Not that she knows that or knew that, but I felt like I did everything right. Like I was as chivalrous as a person can be. Kissed her goodnight. It turned into more than just one. We were whatever, nothing significant happened, but we were standing outside like for 5 minutes, maybe. I walk around and I'm like, I'm on cloud 12. And I even sent a text like, I had a really good time. Like, I would have never stopped kissing you. Something like that. Something that's like a little endearing. Well, when I got friend zone yesterday, I asked, um, when did you think this? Was it this morning when we got in that sort of like miscommunication, or was it last night? Like, did you think that we were just going to be friends the whole time? And she's like, it was last night. And I said, because if it was last night, then that must have been really uncomfortable for you. And she said it was. To which I then joked, if that was uncomfortable for you, then you must be one hell of a kisser when you're into it, because I thought she was into it. Like, she did a pretty good job of faking it. And then I started thinking, how many other people have I done this to? How many other people have I gone out with and gotten friend zoned by? I talk about it on the show all the time. How many of them have I either tried to make out with or made out with? To me, it's harmless, like whatever. But she was uncomfortable. I made a woman who I really liked, who I thought, let's see where this goes, whatever, date a couple more times, see if we like each other, blah, blah, blah. I'm not marrying her, but you know what I mean? Like, I like this person a lot. Not only was she not into it, she didn't feel comfortable enough, Scott, to tell me at that time she wasn't into it. So she just went with it.
Yeah, but that's not so unusual, I think. Look, like, are you done with the story? Like, I mean, can I start talking, or I feel like I've been listening for a long time.
No, and you can talk for the rest. I'm just saying, because like, I'm horrified by that. I feel like a predator.
Don't over analyze that last part of it. What I would say to this situation, and it's interesting. A, you do this to a lot of people too, right? You friend zone people too. B, you talked about
Not
it even
after
in
I
the
make
story.
out with them, and not.
Dan, forget about the making out for a second. You talked about it in this story specifically, that when you first met her, you thought you guys were going to be good friends, which in the end, maybe that's what she was thinking too. I think the error was she found somebody that she likes to hang out with, maybe not romantically, but you say this all the time on the show, just in general, talking to me, that you are on dating apps to find good people. Maybe
Right.
somebody to date, maybe somebody who's a friend, maybe somebody who could come on the show, like whatever it is. And it seems like what you were describing, and I remember you talking about this woman off the show, that this is somebody who had a lot going for her, was very impressive, but maybe there was a mismatch. And I think she wanted to go to a nice restaurant, you wanted to go there. So there was a lot of things in common from a friend perspective. And then as you got into it, the mind is very powerful. And I think as you got into this, you realize, like, oh, hey, and it's not always equal. And that's why dating's hard. That's why all these people who are reaching out to us are saying, like, why is dating so hard? Because in this situation, if it was somebody else who's listening, they're reaching out to us, they would be beating themselves up about the fact that, well, I started to really like this person, man or woman, while we were out, and then I kissed her, and then I got in the friend zone, and I feel guilty about that. That's a two-way street. Like, she could have pulled back. She could have stopped kissing you. Like if she didn't feel comfortable enough to tell you, it's simply because maybe she had decided at dinner, but maybe she didn't fully decide. And maybe she figured, like you just said, a kiss is harmless. That you can have like a kiss. And if there's like a big spark, maybe what I was thinking is not what I was thinking.
Sure.
But if it doesn't feel, if it doesn't put butterflies in my stomach or whatever it may be, maybe it's just not meant to be. And so it could have been something that she felt at dinner, but then that sort of cemented it ultimately. So I don't think you could beat yourself up about being attracted to somebody who you thought was gonna be a friend, and maybe you were more physically attracted to her and tried to make it work. But there's still no reason why you can't back that down and still be friends with her.
No, and that's going to happen. She actually said that to me on the phone, and she's like, we started out, it was just going to be a friend thing. And she's like, if you, I would still want that. And that's happened to me before and it doesn't last. And I said, I was like, you got to promise me that if I ever annoy you to the point where like, you don't want to be friends with me, just tell me, like, don't make me feel worse again. Like, and I actually said, like, she ended up, long story short, on the chivalrous part of the paying for the meal dance that people do. She actually Venmoed me half the money back. And I was like, I didn't ask for that. Like, I'm not,
That's amazing. Like,
I know, no, she was great. And
I was
and I
actually
said,
going to ask that.
well, yeah. And I said, I texted back. I was like, that's not, you shouldn't have done that. And she's like, you should have never given me all of it anyway. We'd agreed on half.
She picked the place too. I think that's actually really admirable of her. I actually think, I mean, it's a bummer that it's not going to work out romantically, but I think, as you said, there are some people you meet in life that they should be in your life for whatever reason. You need to figure out how they're going to fit in. I do believe in that though, Dan, way more than you do. I do believe in fate. I do believe in, like, I really am starting to get a good sense for, what, I don't want to get religious so much about it, but I honestly think I'm really starting to believe in God.
Oh, we need to go there in a second. Let me just finish this part. Holy shit. Hold on. My,
Yeah.
the end of this story is, we're not going to hang out this weekend, but I sent it back and I was like, well, next time we go out, it's my treat. And I go out with my friends all the time. Like, I constantly talk about when I go out and it's with friends and I have a better experience with them than on the dates I go out on. So
And
I'm
that could
cool
be a
with being
great
friends with her,
thing. Yeah.
but it's tough because I thought this is where I thought something was there. I was sure of it, Scott. I was like, but what?
Dan, you're not even I mean, no disrespect, like, you're not always of sound mind anyway. Like, it's pretty easy. You're not. Like,
Damn.
it's pretty easy to convince ourselves that something's there when it's not. It's actually quite easy. And I've made that mistake in the past too. Like, I've dated women where I felt like, yeah, this is amazing. This is going really well. And then something all of a sudden popped up and I've been very surprised. And I was like, wait a second, what, you were viewing our relationship like that? And wow, I really misread this. And I feel like I'm a good read on people and I'm a good judge of people, and I screw it up all the time. Like,
My face
I
is like
do
breaking
misread
out. I'm
people.
so frustrated by this. Like, and because this is the thing, and I say this, I don't know if I think I said this on the show before, but I talk about it with my therapist all the time. And this happens with marriages, and a lot of people who listen to us are either divorced or out of a long, and so you're going to be nodding along with. If you don't nod along with me normally, you're going to be nodding along with me on this. Sometimes when you think you're being assertive in a conversation or in a disagreement, and the other person thinks you're being aggressive, it's somewhere in the middle. You may be trying to be assertive, but they might have a chip on their shoulder because of past experiences, and they might
Totally.
take it as something of aggression. And that's difficult. And that could break up marriages, the way that you interact with people. And certainly with mine, it had something to do with it. But the thing I say to my therapist all the time is, if you think you're being assertive and the other person thinks you're being aggressive, what are you? But if you think you're being assertive and 12 people think you're being aggressive, you're being aggressive.
Right. I
And
agree.
that's the macro part of this guy. I went out with a woman and I thought to myself, she's awesome. I want to date her. I can't wait to like hang out with her again. She was great. And I thought, like, I'm on cloud. I sent her a fucking text that said I would have never stopped kissing you. You put that out of context, Scott, that she tells me the next day that the whole process of doing that was uncomfortable. And I thought it was amazing. And I feel like a predator. Like, sending that text feels like an aggressive move to me now.
No. And again, if you pride yourself on what you say, like, I believe that I am, broadly speaking, I'm a very good communicator when I'm dating, when I'm going out, meeting people, whatever it is. I think you are generally too. I think that this experience is causing you to overthink the situation. And I don't think that she was in a lot of pain. I don't think that she felt like you were attacking her, or that you were some sort of weird
No, and she
predator. And
said no need to
even the comment
apologize, but
afterwards, like, yeah, I mean, look, that's what dating is. Like, you go out and Dan, this is what our whole
I'm not
audience
mad
is
at you. I'm
looking.
not frustrated at you. That look
No, I
personal.
understand, but I'm saying this is but I'm just saying, for the benefit of the audience, like, everyone feels what you're feeling. Everyone has been in this situation before, where it's very rare where you meet somebody, especially as you start to meet them, and it's easy to find things that you have in common and say, like, oh my God, we have a lot in common. We like the same foods, we like the same places, we like the same movies, we like the same music. And all of a sudden it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you can convince yourself like this is my person. But as we've said, and we've posted this on social, you never know what anyone else has got going on. If there's one major thing in their world that they want that you can't provide, or they don't feel like you can provide, then all of a sudden that dynamic shifts a little bit. So you might like the same
Yeah.
food and the same music, but she may want something else, you may want something else, and that causes a bit of conflict. It's not a predator. Like, the reality is a kiss is a kiss. Like, you know, don't, it wasn't there like a nursery rhyme about this? You gotta, for women, they gotta kiss a lot of frogs so they find their prince. Like, wasn't that
Right. Yeah. And this is a perfect segue back to Chivalry with the prince, and it is perfect. Well done on that, because why do
the
women have to
drugs?
kiss frogs? Why does the prince get to kiss whatever princess he wants, but the princess has to kiss a bunch of fucking frogs until one of them turns into a handsome man? Think about the logic of that. I'm serious though, and you've only had boys growing up, so your issue with gender roles and stuff as a parent, Scott, are not the same as people who have had, you know, daughters, or you know, whatever, one of each, however it breaks down. The point is that is my problem with Chivalry. That is my problem with all of this, is that there's an entitlement that men have, that, like, I looked at that and I'm like, well, and I didn't send the money until afterwards. So it wasn't like I sent all the money of the Venmo and then tried to make out with her. It was actually the other way around. So it wasn't like I was buying access to her or whatever.
No,
But
I
I look
didn't
at it
think
as,
that.
I know, but I thought it, like, if I would have if I would have sent the money first and then tried to like make a move or whatever, I would have felt even worse. But I still feel terrible because, Scott, if someone is uncomfortable with you and you think it's like this amazing thing, there's a disconnect. And in my mind at first it was, well, I'm just like a hopeless romantic, right? I fall in as hard as I can because I like the roller coaster, right? I love the ups, the downs I'll deal with. And that's how I'm living my life. Everything is extreme. And to be honest, these extremes are kind of fun and invigorating, and then awful. And then the next one's fun and invigorating.
Okay, so now what's the problem? Like
The
that's what's
problem is,
happened.
no, the problem is when the person who you respect tells you that you made them uncomfortable, so much so that they couldn't even say anything to you about it in the moment. You feel like, what if more would have happened? Where would she have stopped? Scott, shit happens
But
all
it
the
didn't have.
time with people
But it
who
but it
don't feel
didn't
that they have
but
the
it didn't
power
go.
in a circumstance.
But it didn't go there though, Dan. You
But what if
just
it has in the
kissed her.
past, Scott? What if it has to me in the
You,
past? I've
all right,
gotten friend zoned a million times now, I
okay,
feel like.
and you've done it, and you've done it. So you've gotten friend zoned, and you've friend zoned people both. And Dan, I'm telling you that if you're out there dating and you're in this situation, you have to recognize that that is part of dating, right? And I talk about this a lot. I know some people give me some crap like you can't always be communicative. Yeah, maybe you can't be communicative with your ex. If you're divorced, maybe there was some real problems and you can't be communicative with your ex. But when you're dating, if you want to change your life at all, if you want to be a better person moving forward, you have to make some changes. We can't change who we are, but we can change how we go about things. And I think in this case, if you were really that into this woman and you were walking the opposite direction from the train, walking her back, why couldn't you have had the conversation as you're walking her home? Now it's in your mind. So you can't beat yourself up for the past, but moving forward, why couldn't you put in your head and say, like, hey, you know what? Unexpectedly, I know we had talked about we were going to be friends and that was a great dinner and everything. I find myself attracted to you.
I
How do you
basically
feel?
did earlier in my own way, where I was at some point I was like, I
Well,
want to kiss you
apparently
so
you
much
didn't
right
talk
now.
about it enough.
Right. And this goes back to, which is ironic in this situation, because after the shows the last couple of days, I said, I'm going to stop dancing and I'm going to be direct. I thought I was direct. I thought we were on the
Okay,
same page.
well,
Scott, we talked about like the thing we were in had like a zipper that you could close. Obviously they can close these like huts or whatever they had. And we talked about closing it so we had privacy. Like, to me, I knew what that meant. She knew what that meant. So I the whole time thought I was on the same page. And I don't know, and this goes back to the, to the aggressive assertive thing. I got friend zoned by somebody a couple weeks ago. We had the same birthday. She didn't want to date me. Obviously there was a different reason then. We shared the same birthday. She didn't want to hang out with me. I
right.
feel like people either want to hook up or friend zone me. I'm looking for somebody who would like to do both, like be friends, but also like have a romantic
That's the
thing or physical
ideal.
thing.
That's
That's what
what everyone
everyone's looking
writes
for.
about. That's the dream.
But this is the first time that I think in this year plus that I've been divorced, Scott, that I think I don't want just either.
You want both.
I have enough friends, and that's not to say this woman I don't want to add to that group. Like I'm not
I get it.
seeking more friends.
I get it. You don't need to over-explain it, Dan. You know what you're doing, and you're beating yourself up for it, which is the wrong way to approach it. You're actually
Have you
evolving.
met me?
No, I understand. I'm telling you, that's why I'm saying this, that you're actually evolving in your life. Like you're starting to recognize an important part of your next step in this journey, which is you don't want to just, and we talked about this, that we got a lot of crap for this too, of people who thought, we talked about it on the last show, that people who thought that we were just into, hot girls and, physically pretty women. And we were like, no, 100% not. And I think now this is the first time I've heard you say it, and you're saying it as a negative because you feel guilty about this woman. You feel like you were, a predator in your actions, but actually this is a breakthrough for you, that you realize that you want more out of dating. You want somebody who you are attracted to that can also be your friend. That is the dream. Anyone who's dating, that's what you want. That's what I wanted in my marriage. It didn't end up working out. So post marriage, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who will be there, have my back as a friend, and I can talk to them, but I'm also attracted to, and I look forward to, spending the night with, and hugging and holding hands and kissing and all that stuff. But it's got to be both. And it's hard to find. This is what people reach out to us all the time. And they're like, why is this so hard? Well, it's so hard because our first time around, we just kind of went with it because we were dumb and young, and we just, went with the situation that we were most comfortable with, and we didn't have experience. You now are gaining experience, and I think I think this is a revelation for you. You're taking it as a negative, but forget about what happened in the past with these friend zone things. You just figured out, Dan, this week, that you want more than just a hookup.
I don't think I found that out this week. I think I found it out a month ago, and I think that the
Okay,
red
but I think
flag.
this week is telling you that.
No. Well, fine, and I appreciate that. That's what you're getting, and maybe I'm not hearing myself in that regard, which is kind of ironic because that's what we're talking about in a way that I'm not getting the sense of the room. But I feel like the red flag situation was the beginning. Well, actually, not the red flag. The best date, the best first date I mentioned. That was the moment where it's like this was the first person where I was like, I could do this. Let me see where this goes. And then that blew up in a fucking day. A day. And then when she finally was like able to comprehend like what happened, she was like, yeah, I think I just didn't really feel it on the first date either, but just got caught up in the moment. I went through a date thinking like, other than the first 10 minutes, which was awkward, this is the best first date I've ever had. And meanwhile, she was just not that into it and went along for the ride. Although she probably facilitated a lot of the stuff, but nonetheless. But Scott, do you understand the compendium of this? Do you understand the fact that like this keeps happening? And I know I'm new to this. I'm making mistakes. But you feel predatory when you hear from people. No, I didn't want to do anything physical. I just kind of did it because you seemed interested.
Look, you know what, Dan? You're talking about chivalry. Like it's a two-way street. You're not attacking these women. You're going out with people. You're setting up a plan. You're going out to dinner or for drinks or whatever it may be. They're going along with it. You can't control how other people interact with you. They have every right, and you're not forcing yourself on these people. They have every right to stop you. And if they said no, then you would stop. That's who you are. And
right.
So they have the option to do that with you. Now, unfortunately, the scary part about dating is sometimes they might date someone who's not like you and won't stop when they say no. And that's the scarier part of it, which is real. And that's something that, needs to be addressed outside of our conversations because we're not those guys. But I think that's
what if I am?
You're not.
No,
Dan.
Scott, what if it was clear that she just wanted to be friends and I, in my head, manufactured this romance side of things that she never saw and then like made a move and she was like, what the fuck is happening? I thought we were just friends. So that is exactly what you're talking about. No, I decided that something that wasn't there is there.
She could have stopped it and she didn't have to.
But maybe she felt like she already was clear about it and I still went after it anyway.
I think look, if you're still communicating with her, I think that this would be a good conversation to have to figure this out.
No, I know.
You started off this whole conversation. You started this whole conversation off by saying you are out there doing research. That's what you said. You're out there doing research. Yes, you're looking for a good date, a partner, whatever it may be. I don't know exactly what you're looking for, to be honest, because it's evolving. But
Sure.
you said you're out there doing research. So you can't beat yourself up on the harmless research that you're doing where you think it was something that it wasn't. That's research. You're figuring it out. That
Well,
allows
no,
us
I
to.
want to be clear about that. This is important because I get shipped for this all the time when I go out with people or when people talk to me on apps. Like, I'm not on these apps to do research. I do research on these apps. This is like I said, when I was a sports writer, some sports I covered and wrote about, some I just like to watch. In this particular case, no, it's important. In this particular case, this woman was stunning. She was amazing. And I would have full on gone to try to like pick her up or whatever you do on these apps. But I was respectful of the fact that there's a disconnect and I couldn't be a long-term solution for her. And that's why I went into it as I still want to talk to you if you will. I still want to pick your brain. But then
you're not giving the whole story, Dan. So it's hard for us to.
I did say all that.
No, you didn't say what the actual. And I want to be respectful to her. So we can sort of like move on to the next thing shortly. But all I'm saying is that there was clearly something that she wants that you said at the beginning. So there's something she wants that you can't provide. So the fact that you enjoy good foods at nice restaurants together, the fact that you have good conversations, that's great. Sometimes in my experience, I've had that too, and then I've realized, like, you know what, the timing's just off. It's not only about finding somebody who you have a lot of things in common with and that you're going at the same pace. It's timing is a lot of what goes on with this. And to me, your life timing, I don't know exactly what's going on with her, but I would imagine she clicked over in her head that she's got something she wants to do in her life long term, and you can't necessarily provide that. So she may have just been like, oh, there's a good guy, like, like he's fun, he likes some of the same things, like we could be friends, and she might have put that in her head. I don't know, because I don't know her and I don't know what's going on with her, but that's
right. Just to punctuate this, and I think this is important because maybe I'm not making this clear. Like, this is the latest example. It's not the only example. And I think that my concern is that on this macro level, like I look at myself where I'm like, I'm a hopeless romantic, right? I fall for somebody in a day. And again, we talk about like when you're being mindful and when you're being present, like, and you absorb everything that's going on you're not on your phone. You're not worrying about like if the Sixers won or whatever. You're just immersed in that person's existence that you can form a connection that's stronger, quicker. But then when I feel like I have that connection and the other person doesn't, that's uncomfortable, but it happens constantly to me. And what I'm trying to figure out on a larger scale is like, can I just say, well, I'm more physically engaging than other people. Like I'm sex positive. I don't, to me, like sex is just a fun thing to do. It doesn't have like the emotional weight of it. And maybe that's why I'm more willing to. I know, but Scott, then I need to find people who agree with that, because otherwise then you feel predatory and you feel like I'm putting people in situations that are uncomfortable for them. I'm just saying that there's something to be said about like, oh, I'm a hopeless romantic. Yeah. Well, guess what? 50 years ago, people thought like, oh, that's just how things were. Men were misogynistic. That's just how things were. I don't want to be like that. And I feel like I am.
So we teach people all the time now, Dan, how to
chivalry can blow up in your face is what I'm saying, because you feel entitled.
Right. This is not chivalry. This is I think this is the wrong.
No, but there's an entitlement that comes with chivalry.
No, look, Dan, we teach people all the time now how to make their profiles better so they attract the right people, not more people, but the right people, the quality over quantity. Yet you're still going after quantity. You like quality. Hold on.
Like you like quality. On people the last couple of weeks. Man, I really tried.
But you're focusing on the wrong people then. You're focusing on the wrong people. You and I talk about this all the time. You send me pictures and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be a great date. I think I'm misreading this now. Like I'm even confused as to what you're looking for. I thought you were still just looking to go out and have fun and meet cool people and get laid. But apparently you're changing what your thought process is, which is positive, but you're not changing your actions necessarily. So you're getting confused as to the outcome of some of these things when you're going into it with a different idea about stuff. Like you're changing it mid-date in the way that I'm reading it.
I just need to go back to like being a sociopath and just not caring and just looking to like.
No, dude, don't say that. That's bullshit.
This roller coaster, Scott, the ups are fun.
You just said you like the roller coaster. If you like the roller coaster,
I like the ups and I'll survive the downs, but now I'm not surviving the downs. It's
You are surviving them. You're
horrifying.
just having you're getting sickness in your stomach on the drops because that's what roller coasters do. And when they go up, they're fun. It's by the way, it's who you are. It's your physical mental makeup, and you have to be able to deal with that. Like I don't think at the end of the day, Dan, like you're dating, right? I look at it differently. I'm looking for a person. So it may be that I go out on, and I have in the past gone out on lots of dates and it just wasn't my person. They're lovely women. They've got a lot going for them, but there was something that
Right.
was mismatched. I don't feel guilty about that. I don't feel guilty about that. We both decided to go meet out. If I misread it, they misread it, it happens. And then you just kind of like move on. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. That's what dating is. I don't think that this needs to go back to the 1800s of chivalry and all that stuff. Like I think you're way overthinking this. I think you went
You know
into this
my thoughts
situation.
on overthinking things.
I know, but you
Maybe
went into this
everyone else is
situation.
just underthinking them. That's my. I used to say that. Like I
Okay,
just think my
but
brain works how it works. Maybe,
I,
but actually, I do believe that I do ruminate, if that's a better term for it. That I do get caught
no,
up in a loop. But I think it's funny.
yes,
Like everyone
you
always said
are.
that to me. You overthink things. Maybe you're underthinking them. Think of that.
So you have a more active mind than most people I know. How's that?
Yeah.
You have a more active mind. So I just to sort of end this, this portion, I just say that um I understand you feel like it keeps happening. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's the part of the evolution of your dating, and you're starting to get to a point where you're starting to realize that either you want to continue to just hook up and have some fun and be on that high, or you're okay with the roller coaster. Like life is a roller coaster. Like if you take it out of dating, like I'm trying to make it through, like I'm on a roller coaster. I'm on a high right now because I have like four different meds in my system and I'm feeling less pain. But then I'm
Right.
on a low when the pain comes back. Like I woke up this morning, I was on a real low. It's
Right.
life. And dating emulates life. And when you're dating somebody, like you need to look at it like people need to understand that the beginning of dating is like a fairy tale. You're not taking out the garbage with them. You're not paying your bills with them. You're not doing your taxes with them. You're not taking care of your kids with them. It's all an escape. So you're escaping with somebody, and of course it's going to feel good. But when they start to realize what they want and what you want, if they're matched, and they have to deal with things like people that are talking to me, and I feel guilty, right? Like I feel guilty that someone that I'm talking to is having to live through my pain and can't see me and all this other stuff because I'm in doctor's offices half the day and then I'm working and
Right.
then I'm getting surgery. Like we have real life things, and the person who's the right person for you, if you're looking for that person, is gonna stick by you. Gonna stick by
I,
you through the roller coaster of life. And
my
you need to
last
be
my
okay
last
with that.
point. No, I appreciate that. And my last point on this is I look at it as you said fairy tale, right? So I look at it as Beauty and the Beast. Everyone was afraid of the Beast until Belle comes along and realizes that there's something underneath. I always thought I was the Beast. Maybe I'm Gaston. And for certain people I am, and that's a problem. That because I pride myself on being self-aware. I prided myself on being self-aware for 20 years, and I was blind to half of my brain not working. Then I get on the right meds. I do a lot of therapy. I do a lot of self-reflection, and I'm like, wow, I was not self-aware at all. I'm gonna pat myself on the back now because I'm really self-aware, and now I'm doing it again.
Nobody is self-aware. Nobody is as self-aware as they want to be in dating. It's a game. It's a
All right, let's talk
game
about
until you
God.
figure it out. So like
Go,
don't
go.
again
Let's
stop
talk
beating
about God.
yourself up. Talk about
You,
God.
yeah, we got to go back to that real quick.
I actually think
Religious
um
how? Like what do you what I need to know what you mean by like God is now in your life. Like, what does that even mean?
I, I've really been thinking a lot lately about that there's a bigger picture and a higher power to what's happening in my life. I think everything is I know you disagree with all this stuff, so it's cool to talk about it.
This is
I think
amazing.
I think everything does happen for a reason. I think I'm feeling pain now because that's what the plan is for me to feel pain to be able to recover and know what that feels like so I could be um, more helpful to others, in life and
Okay.
do stuff like that. I feel like my doctor, who I really think that this guy is amazing. It happens to be the brother of a friend of mine. Hey bud, he's probably listening. Not the doctor, but my friend. He,
Maybe both.
they are very into faith and God and it's at first I was a little bit thrown off about it, and I was sitting in his office, and he has this beautiful offices and this massive TV screen, and he talks about his faith and how he's a healer, and this guy has literally, I feel like over the past couple weeks, like this guy is saving my life. And like I talk about a roller coaster. Like I've been in a really bad place for a couple weeks, and when I'm sitting here at night, I'm like, the pain has been so extreme. I didn't know what to do with myself. Like I was really, I haven't slept in a week. Like it messes
Yeah.
with you, messes with your mind. Like I know your mind's getting messed with often, but mine not so much. And this really was painful. And this guy come into my life. Not only has he been helping me with my pain, he's it's almost like he's God-like. Like he is a soldier of a higher power. He is, and he's helping me. And I even
It's
texted
amazing.
him. I texted him yesterday after I felt like I had this path, and I was so relieved. And I said, "You want me to read you the text I
I
sent?"
definitely want you to read me the text.
So because this is how grateful I was, and I'm just telling you, I'm starting to think that there's more here. So I said, I'm not going to say his name, but I said, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you and your team for your time, effort, and attention to detail to help me get a path for recovery with my back problems. Surgery is set for whatever day. Um, Everyone is going above and beyond for me. And the fact that you personally have made so much time to keep me calm and comfortable through this process means the world to me and my family. You're a class act. You have a great operation and a wonderful family. God bless you. I hope I can repay you soon for your kindness." And I meant it. I meant it. I was real. And he responded back, and he just said, he thanked me, and he was just saying that he said you are the one that's so kind and the consummate gentleman. It's my honor to take care of you, and I'll ensure an outstanding outcome. Thanks for entrusting us with your care, and may God bless you as well. Nothing to pay back, my friend. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, this guy I'm telling you, I know this is going to freak everyone out, and you can all make
No,
comments and everything. Like, this guy is a soldier of God, and he is in my life. And I now am thinking differently about faith and what's happening in my world, because
I want to be respectful. I know we have people of all denominations and people all over the country who listen to us now. The fact that you said soldier of God is problematic to me. The fact that the Crusades were based on people literally going into wars to convert people to certain religions.
so
No, but
don't
Scott,
think about it
that's
so literally. Don't think about it so literally. I'm just
no, 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 no,
I
no,
didn't have
no,
the
no.
words. I didn't. I don't. I'm on a lot of meds,
That's
dude. I
fine.
didn't have the
That's fine. The
words.
soldier thing I'll back off on. But what I will say, as someone who has a child with a very serious medical issue that is like a lifetime thing, the concept of everything happens for a reason doesn't give the person credit. So why does my kid have hemophilia? Why does something happen to
It,
no. Why do children get
false.
cancer and die? Like, but what's the
I,
reason why
I,
kids get
I
cancer and
don't
die?
know. I don't know. I don't know the reason, but I know that there is a reason. I know there
No,
is
no,
reason,
no, no,
and
no,
and I
no.
don't know. I don't
You
know
don't
why.
know there is a reason. You believe there is
I
a reason.
think there is. I feel as though,
Huge
as hard as
difference.
it is. By the way, I feel awful, and I don't have the answers. And by the way, I didn't mean to get into such a deep conversation about it. I knew the minute I mentioned God, you were going to
No, just
jump
keep
all
it. You
over
don't have
that.
to subtext. Just keep on.
But right, I just think that um, all I'm saying is that this is a newer feeling to me, and I want to explore it.
This is all right. And I'm going to do this as concisely as possible. If anybody hasn't yet watched, which I'm sure most people haven't, the show Dark on Netflix, it's a I believe a German show, French or German, and then it's dubbed, so it's in English. You have to watch the show Dark. It is a mind blow. It's amazing. It's a really, really good show. And it really speaks to the whole or Devs actually on FX, which has Nick Offerman. That's a similar topic. And both those shows kind of deal with the whole idea of like, is the world already written? And are we just, the world is a flat circle or whatever. Time is a flat circle where, everything's already been written and it's just a matter of where the needle hits the grooves, to go with the record player situation. Or is time linear? If you believe that time has already existed, which I understand as a concept, then if you believe in determinism and everything happens for a reason, then there should be no punishment. There should be you shouldn't have to be a good person, because it's out of your control to be a good person. So when people who are religious say, well, you have to do good things in order to, be rewarded in the afterlife, you can't have it both ways. You can't say things happen for a reason and then also say you have to be a good person to get rewarded. Because if things happen for a reason, then you're not part of that decision-making process. Now, if you believe in free will, then you have control of your own life. That means nothing happens for a reason. It's all random. We're just atoms smashing into each other.
I think it's not surprising that you're taking it in this direction, and I don't want to. All I'm saying is that,
Scott, if everything happens for a reason, then God is a dick.
we take. On that note, I think we are presented.
Go read Jason Aaron's The Goddamned. Read Jason Aaron's graphic novel.
You're only talking about movies and TV shows and books that fit your part of it. There's thousands of books that we know about that will say and will give direct examples of why things happen for a reason. You're being one-sided, and that's not fair.
No. I believe that, Scott. I believe in the concept that people think things happen for a reason. I do. I absolutely do. But then we need to get rid of our entire criminal justice system.
No,
because no one should be punished for anything, because it happened for a reason.
Dude, you are taking something that I am in a mode where I need help, and I've been fighting for help, and I found people and some things to help me. I'm not saying everything happens for a reason and we have no say or control in it. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. All I'm saying is that my faith in a higher power has grown over the past couple of weeks. Can I just say that without you making me watch a show or read a book that's contrary to what I just said?
So you want to make a claim about something that you can't prove, and then you don't want to read any other things that could inform you otherwise.
I'm not saying.
Sure. And on that note, thank you for explaining religion to me.
It wasn't religious.
Do you have a way to finish the show?
I said God. Like I just said I want to explore this. That's it.
Okay.
I just think that there's a higher power. It's fine. We can agree to disagree. How's that? We can agree to disagree. I will end it on. Look, everyone who listened to this, I hope parts of this resonated. Please give us your comments. As I mentioned before, if you are watching us, sorry, I'm a mess. It's just the way that it is right now. Like, I'm gonna be a mess for the next couple ones. I promise once I get healed that I'll start showering before we do this. I mean, I'm being honest.
TMI, man.
I slept like 2.5 hours.
No one can smell you. I mean, you look fine.
I mean, well, my hair's a disaster, whatever. If you are watching us, please just underneath here, hit the subscribe. We'd love to, start to build up the subscriber. Invite your friends to listen. I think that we can help a lot of people.
Can I jump on that real quick? If everyone who listens, and I did this on my old podcast all the time, and it's effective. Everyone who's listening to this knows someone else who might actually enjoy this or hate me or you or whatever. If every single person who's hearing our voices now and got this far in the show, if you can just send this to like 2 or 3 other people, be like, hey, check this out. That'll be really helpful.
Yeah, I agree. Good way to say it. So I agree. And so thank you for your time. Dan, it's always a pleasure to enter into the mind of Dan Levy. And so fingers are crossed. Tomorrow's a big day for us and the family in terms of not my health, but Jack's getting to hear back from his last and ultimate school tomorrow. So Everyone, keep your fingers crossed for that. We'll see where that takes us. But whatever's meant to be is meant to be. Kids first.